Hi, welcome tonight to the Green Party Green Stream, featuring Green Party women candidates running in 2024. Tonight's Green Stream has been organized by the Media Committee, the National Women's Caucus, and the Coordinated Campaign Committee. I'll be one of your moderators and hosts for tonight. My name is Margaret Elisabeth. I am the current co-chair of the National Lavender Green Caucus. I am a previous steering committee member of the National Party, and I serve as the chair of the Green Party of Washington. I'm also joined tonight by Holly Hart, our national secretary. Hi, Holly.
Hi, Margaret. Nice to see you. And as Margaret mentioned, my name is Holly Hart. I'm currently the national secretary of the party. Also want to mention, and I'll put in a plug later for the Coordinated Campaign Committee, which also has a role in these Green Party green streams and candidate forums and candidate webinars. So without further ado, we can get started.
Right on. Thank you very much. I think we have just a little bit of let's say a show note for people tuning in. If you are watching live on YouTube right now, if you put questions in the YouTube chat, we will try to take them and ask them of the candidates if we have time allowing. Also, just want to do a quick shout out really quick before we begin the event tonight. So if you're interested in knowing more about candidates in general who are running for the Green Party, you can go to gp.org/run, and you will see a varying array of candidates who are running currently in the year 2024, and you will see some of our past candidates as well. If you're interested in helping the Green Party grow and support our movement, you can go to gp.org/donate and make a donation there, which of course will help us a whole lot, and we would be greatly appreciative of it. So we're going to also, one other little program note, we're going to divide our show tonight into two segments. The first section will have 3 guests, and then where I will be the moderator, and I'll ask some, I hope, good questions that allow them to speak their minds and explain some things about themselves. And then we'll turn the second segment over to Holly Hart, who will take us home for the evening. So I think we're ready to have our guests join us. All right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy campaign schedules. As of course everyone knows, the election is only 2 days away now, 33 days. And so there's a lot of pressure on all of you as candidates. And so thank you for being here tonight. Some of you are on the East Coast, and at least 2 of you are. So I know it's late for you already, and I want to be mindful of all of our times this evening. So hopefully we'll get through our stuff pretty quickly. So tonight I would like to start with Christina. Christina, well, I'm just going to kind of get right to it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running tonight or this election cycle as a Green?
Okay, so for, I guess, people that don't know, I'm a first-generation Egyptian. I grew up in foster care, and I decided to run as a Green Party. Well, also the history is out there. I started as a progressive Dem, and I was meeting with the party chairs, and they told me to my face, and they told me in text messages that they were not going to be supporting progressive policies. And then I saw exactly how they were treating the progressives just in general. And the Green Party, a member of the Green Party, reached out to me, and we sat down, and they really educated me. And it was just in that moment where I said, I want to switch, because I'd rather put my energy into a party that actually cares with other like-minded people than put my energy into the machine in New Jersey. And Robin knows about the machine in New Jersey. Yeah. And it's just like I'm talking to a wall and expecting an answer back, pretty much. So that is why I'm running as a Green, and I love it. And I'm talking to, I connected with the East Coast organizer, and we are discussing different plans on growing the Green Party on the East Coast. I do have plans on how to grow it in New Jersey too, because I'd like to see Greens actually take office.
I think that's something we all want. I think all of you want that. I want that for you as well. And okay, so that's why you're running as a Green. But what made you decide to run this election cycle?
So Menendez. So I am a social worker and I'm a therapist. So a lot of what I do my entire life and my entire career is just fighting the system, fighting social injustices. And I was tired when it came to COVID and working frontline at the hospital during COVID and seeing exactly that it wasn't about the patients. They were putting COVID positives with COVID negatives. It was always about the money. And just seeing my clients, like if they needed help when it came to having HIV and they ran out of medication, no insurance, finding the resources for that. If a client was just like, I need to go into rehab, but they don't have their insurance lapsed, and or their insurance changed, and now the place they were going to go says, oh, insurance is weird. They can accept Horizon, Blue Cross Blue Shield, for example, but it might be a different branch of Horizon that they don't accept. So seeing all these barriers and going and advocating and saying, oh, we need to remove this, we need help with this, we need help with that, and just seeing the glaze and how our representatives just didn't care. And then Menendez went on his first federal trial and nobody stood up against him, and they rewarded him and said, oh, have your seat back. And then I was just like, I kept going, and I was like, I'm tired. And I was just like, Menendez, you can't do your job. I'll do it for you. And I'm someone that's eager to work. I currently work a full-time and I work a part-time while I'm running this campaign. And I'm not shy of work. I like to go out there. And I don't mind meeting people and meeting strangers. It's just, and I love helping people. So I also am in a very special position because coming from where I come from, to be able to run for Senate and say I have a stable environment, it's very rare and unheard of. So the goal is to give that back, and why not do it on a larger scale? Why not give it back through the entire country, and also working internationally and rebuilding our relationships internationally as well. Instead of being number one enemy, we could be the number one friend.
I mean, that's definitely a laudable goal. I think like as I'm listening to you talk, it very much strikes me that the Green Party's position on Medicare for all must have appealed to you very strongly when you were
yes.
Talking about the party.
Oh yes, Medicare for all. There is no moving forward without universal health care or Medicare for all. There is no. It is the working class that takes care of this country. It's our taxes that take care of this country. Mm-hmm. And when it's like a slaughterhouse currently. So when one of us gets sick, they decide your value, you don't mean anything to us. When people get older and they retire, they shame people for having to want to retire with dignity and respect. So we need Medicare for all so desperately. And it's much cheaper to go that route than it is to lobby and deal with these corporations that buy out politicians, which goes into, I know I'm going a little ahead, my 10 principles is the grassroots democracy. Especially, you currently see it, we have our politicians bought out, and because they take the corporate donations, they will never work for the voters. So it's having the power and the freedom to say, I'm going to choose the voters over these corporations because they don't come first. I want to see this country thrive, and I want to see this country build, and I want to see the people who keep this country afloat taken care of, because us working class, we are the backbone of this country. Without us, there'd be no corporations. Without us, there'd be no country.
You're not wrong about that at all. And it's completely true that the disproportionate burden of healthcare costs falls upon the working class and the poor. Would you say that that's one of the main issues which your constituents are encountering? And if not that, what would you say is like the primary driver for them and their motivations right now?
I will say locally it's the unaffordable housing, but I want to say Medicare for all. And the reason being is currently, unfortunately, in my line of work, I see people in their worst situations, and at their lowest point, and it has become very common that people's medical plans or their retirement plans include suicide. So we had a girl same age as me at 30. When I was 32, she was 32. Actually, or was I 30? Either way, same age as me. Ooh, yeah. This year, because of medical issues, 2 blocks away, she committed suicide because the medical bills kept going high. And it was the most devastating thing. And then unfortunately where I live, it's been since COVID, it's been every year someone has committed suicide 2 blocks away from me. And our train tracks are it's called the Suicide Valley, and they haven't put up any barriers. And I've actually reached out to the state. Could we put a sign? Could we do something? So that's something that's is clearly a long work in progress because everyone moves at the state's pace. And then yesterday, which is astonishing, somebody died again on the train tracks, and I don't know if it was what it was related to. And I'm just like, when is enough enough? And then another thing is we need Medicare for all because of cancer. I've had people who have to work while they're fighting aggressive cancer because their job is tied to the insurance company and they can't afford to take the risk of losing their insurance. And it's the most astonishing thing where it's like, there's no words for it because I'm trying to keep them on like the right path, and I'm trying to encourage them. And it's just, for me, it's still shocking. Or like I've had people who had to take out loans or put a loan against their house in order to get a loved one into a rehab facility for addiction because the other facilities are full. So now the most expensive one is free, and not free, is available, but they're charging like $20,000 or $30,000 for really high quality care. And you're looking at this and you're just like, this is really all a business when you have like so many wonderful people. Like I know so many wonderful therapists, so many wonderful social workers, counselors that want this to be affordable, and majority of us want to just help. But then it's the barriers, and it's just seeing how mental health, suicide, and all of these, and addiction is just going through the roof. And having like people just in front of me where it's just like they're talking and we're like, okay, let's get you sober, let's get you help, we have your family that wants you. And they're like, no, I think I'd rather like overdose, they'll get a good payout. So, and no family, and that's their insurance, their life insurance policy, and no family wants that. They're just like, no, I'd rather have you, let's be poor outside, let's be homeless outside.
That's
I don't
terrible.
want you to have to end your life in order in order for you to have to, in order for us to pay our bills. So that's the reality that I face with I have to deal with every single day. And it's tough. And I'm very thankful for my support because I have that all the therapists that work in this high risk field, we're all friends with each other. So we're always debriefing. So it's sad. And the people in office, they don't care. I could write emails and I could share so much information. Me and another social worker could go to the Senate floor, could go speak to people and challenge people. They don't care. They're behind their desks. They go to sleep at night and they have the money and they have health insurance for the rest of their life and they have a pension for the rest of their life. They
That's true.
just don't care. And
So, Christina,
yeah.
if someone wanted to help you and reach out to your campaign and volunteer some time, how would they do that?
Oh, go to KhalilForSenate.com and reach out, fill out the volunteer link, and I will get the email.
Will they get an email from you, or will it be from like someone on your team?
It will be directly from me, and then
Oh,
I will
nice.
connect them to somebody else. So me and some other candidates, we sort of working together, and then so they would be, we all kind of interchange, like,
Perfect.
because I work too much, so other people have to manage.
So before we end our bit of conversation here, is there anything else that you'd like to share about your campaign or about your effort right now?
I would just ask people if you can retweet, share social media, because we deal with a huge media blackout. And just really, if you can donate, but I understand the economy and everything. A retweet for me goes a lot further than a donation.
Thank you, Christina. I suppose I should mention that you're actually running for Senate in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're in New Jersey, you should definitely consider voting for Christina if you're able to do so.
Yes, I would appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to move along in our program then, and we've got two Robins joining us this evening, so it's pretty special in that regard. The first Robin we're going to speak to is Robin Vargas, who is running for office in Texas. Hi, Robin. How are you tonight?
Hi, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
I'm doing pretty good, pretty happy, tired, exhausted, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm always so grateful to get a chance to interact with candidates running in the Green Party, especially candidates who are bringing new, fresh perspectives to our campaigns and the efforts that we're leading. And I know that you're kind of a newish Green, so I'm gonna ask the same question. What motivated you to decide to run as a Green, number one, but then also what caused you to want to run this election cycle?
So I've always been kind of involved in politics, especially back in 2016 when the Trump administration started and started changing a lot of things. Especially, I live in the southern part of Texas, the very tip of Texas. So we're borderland, and Trump wanted to put walls everywhere. So I started fighting against it and protesting, and a couple years later, I found myself just wanting to be the voice that wasn't just on the sidewalk, or on the dirt road. I wanted to make people have more options and get more educated when it comes to politics, because I feel like a lot of people just see the blue and the red, and they don't think they have any more options, or they don't think that the vote is that important. So because of the protesting and being an activist, I thought I'd take it one step further.
I know that, well, of course, I guess we all probably know, but Texas and the quote unquote border wall and the immigration problem is a huge cultural issue right now in the United States. And so I'm wondering how the general public has been with you as you've been advocating for your positions as a Green. Do you find people are receptive to Green political positions on these issues?
I think it's a fresh narrative, to be honest, because the Republicans and Democrats always have like a very damaging narrative of the border, that it's chaotic, that we have gangs and rapists and cartel coming through every day. And it's really none of that. Like, we have asylum seekers, and there's a reason they're called asylum seekers. It's because they're getting away from something that is fearful and terrifying and dangerous for their families. So I think we have a border crisis where we need to stop making the victims out to be the bad guys when they're actually victims, and they need help and our assistance. So I'll try to push that, because that's the truth, and it's not some deranged narrative that we have an invasion, like I don't like that. I want to help our immigrants because they're so good to us. They do the jobs nobody wants.
We're a country of immigrants, and you know, our we've been better and stronger because of it. So also, I think we're all pretty aware that Texas itself is a leading player in the fossil fuel industry and has massive contributions to the global output of CO2, of course, in the United States direct contribution. The Green Party is well known, of course, for being an environmental party, sometimes a bit pigeonholed, perhaps. But in this case, I think it's very apt. So you're running for state senate. If you win your office, what kind of power as a state senator would you have to enforce policies and regulations to prevent, let's say, fracking in the Permian Basin?
I would really love to find out if I do have any type of control over that. I know this is a women's caucus, but we do have Eddie Espinosa running for railroad commissioner, and that kind of handles that stuff more. But if I was to run in office, I would try to get to the core of that, because I know it's really important that we start finding transitional jobs to take over the fossil fuel industry. And we need to use that word transitional, because once people hear like no more fossil fuels, they want nothing to do with the Green Party, because we're the only ones saying it, because we have ecological wisdom. You know, we believe in the scientists. We can see that climate change is all around us, and it's kind of a dire situation. So hopefully if I get office, I'll be able to learn about those problems and take action on them.
So I want to ask you sort of a personal question here. I know that the Jill Stein campaign was recently in Texas. It might even still be in Texas at the moment. And you recently had an opportunity to interact with them. So tell us about that. How was your experience? What was it like meeting Jill? What was the general atmosphere of the thing like?
Oh gosh, I'll try not to spend too much time on this, but she was just an inspiration, like a breath of fresh air. Like I thought I knew politics, and then I saw her speeches live, and I was just like, I needed it, because like at this point we're exhausted, we're tired. People try to put us down. They try to be negative about the Greens, like we're a spoiled vote. And she just has a solution and a plan, and she does it so gracefully. And I just felt like she could be my second grandma, you know, like, so the wisdom is there. And I got to meet her team. They were so awesome. She had security that were also awesome. We had an event, and there is a person there that has written really bad articles and doxed a lot of people. And I made it clear that I didn't want him there, and her security they took care of it instantly. And I was just amazed at the level of experience that she has. And she told me I was talented, and she told me that this is my first, you know, run around. So just keep my head up, you know, and it was amazing. I'm still like a little starstruck.
I recall meeting Jill for the first time, and I felt pretty similar about the whole thing as well. It was quite good. And you're right. She handles all of this with a lot of grace and aplomb. I think we all recall watching her getting arrested with her campaign team at the university. And even during that, which was obviously very physically challenging and very difficult to deal with, she handled it very gracefully. Indeed, someone was waiting right outside the jail when she was released, and like before she could even compose herself, was like sort of have an interview with us, and she handled that fantastically. It's not easy. I know that when I ran last year. One of the things I discovered was that a lot of friends and family aren't going to support you. It's going to be a whole different sort of thing, right? You develop a different group of support. So, Robin, have you found that you've had a lot of support from your friends and family, or has it been sort of a new experience of gathering new support structures?
I'm gonna agree with you. I kind of feel like my family did not take me seriously, and they were kind of like on the fence, like, "Oh, are you sure about that? Like, seriously?" And I was like, "I've read the platform. I'm totally on board. I like what I'm reading, you know." And they've always trusted my opinion, but it takes some time. And it wasn't until they met Jill that they were really on board, and they're like, oh, wow, you're doing amazing. We're proud of you. And I actually cried today, happy tears, because I'm just like, I got their support, and it was something I needed. My heart needed to hear that. So yeah, it's been tough. People don't know the Greens, so learning about them is a process for them. It's been a journey.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure, like, I felt really good about that. It's really nice when, like, somebody who maybe was kind of a naysayer, like, finally sees it and sees the effort that you're putting in and how valuable it really is. And I wanted to sort of say thank you for your effort there. Thank you to all of you for running these. Like, I know it does. Pardon me. I don't mean to become too emotional about this, but it's really important. We don't build a third party by just talking about it. We actually have to run. We have to stand in front of our peers and say, give your vote to me. I will be responsible with it, and I will do the right thing. And then hopefully we do. So, Robin, is there a campaign website, or how would someone get in contact with you if they wanted to help your campaign?
Right now, it's very grassroots. I don't have a campaign website that has like my full name, but we're getting around to it. So right now, I'm just on the Green Party website, and I did share it. I don't know exactly how to say it because it's like Green Party, and then you go under candidates. But my Instagram is Vargas, the number 4, Texas, abbreviated TX, and then SEN for Senate. So that's probably the best way because I'll respond real quick. And if not, my email is literally the same thing with gmail.com. I try to make it simple. I'm a simple type of gal. So those are 2 ways. And then I also have a Facebook and a Twitter with the same exact thing. But I think one of them has like FOR instead of the number 4. So just a little bit of a difference. But either way, we're usually real quick about responding, whether it's an interview, a podcast, or an email. So thank you, Margaret, so much for asking about that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So before we end our part of the discussion tonight, is there anything else that you'd like to share about your campaign?
We really need change down here in South Texas. The person that I'm running up against has endorsed SpaceX. She agreed to the land swapping, which was really devastating because Boca Chica Beach was one of our second beaches besides South Padre Island. So it's devastating to lose that land to SpaceX. So I never try to be against other like parties, but once I find out what they've done and how it didn't help the people, I definitely want to say those facts out there. So please vote for me, Robin Lee Vargas, District 27, State Senate. And thank you for this opportunity too.
Thank you for being here tonight, Robin. I really appreciate it. Indeed, if you're in Texas and you can vote in District 27, please cast your vote for Robin. We need good senators who represent good ecological wisdom in office. That'll be Christina as well in New Jersey. So look at that. You can get senators all over the place. So we're going to continue our ventures tonight, talking to Robin Brownfield, who is also in New Jersey. So we're going back to the East Coast here from the central Gulf states. Thank you for joining us tonight, Robin. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thanks.
So, Robin, I know that you're running in New Jersey, and there's an entire slate of candidates in New Jersey
Yes.
who are running as Greens.
Right.
Was that one of the things that inspired you to run, or was there some other thing that motivated you to run this election cycle?
Well, it was just coincidental that I am involved with something that my husband started after October 7th, which is we started an action every Saturday to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. And it's been going for almost a year now, and it has not petered out. We seem to get more people over time rather than fewer people. During the months after October 7th, the group did things like they had calling campaigns to our congresspeople and our senators. They had delegations go to their offices, and of course they were turned away or ignored or told that nobody would talk to them, things like that. And so the group, it was coming up on primary time, and the group was trying to run somebody against our incumbent congressman, who's a Democrat, but he votes according to his donors. And there's a whole story behind him in that he's also under a big cloud because his brother is George Norcross, who is considered to be one of the biggest power brokers in New Jersey, and the head of the Democratic Party in New Jersey. He's a billionaire, and he's made his fortune off of exploiting especially the area I live in. And he has his own little fiefdom in Camden, New Jersey, which is the poorest city in the country. And yet he has taken, George Norcross has taken over the waterfront, which was supposed to be designated for small businesses to turn around the Camden economy. And instead, he's got his whole his kingdom of glass buildings all over the place at the waterfront. And he is actually currently under indictment right now on 13 charges of racketeering, of using, basically mob tactics to intimidate small businesses and other people so that he could have control of the land and the economy in Camden and in basically in the whole district. He has control over most of the elected officials in New Jersey as well. So his brother, Donald Norcross, is the congressman. He had him installed about 10 years ago after the previous congressman was caught in some sort of embezzlement scandal. And he was kicked out, and Donald Norcross was installed as the congressman. When we talk about machine politics, what we have here is the epitome of machine politics. So when they tried to run, there have been other people who have tried to run against Donald Norcross in the primaries, and they've come, they've made gotten respectable numbers, but they haven't been able to beat him in the primary. So we try to, the group South Jersey for Gaza tried to run somebody, but she couldn't even get on the ballot. So at the same time, the Green Party was looking for somebody to run for Congress in this district. And I've had a close relationship with the Green Party since 2016. At one point I had joined, and then I left because in New Jersey, if you want to vote in the primaries, you have to, either be a Democrat or a Republican. So I did it to vote for local people in primaries. So I agreed to run for Congress because we needed somebody to be a voice against the genocide in Gaza in the election. Nobody else was doing it. So we petitioned, I got on the ballot and so forth, and that's why it started.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like there is a lot of nepotism, corruption, and graft
Yes.
that is going on there. And of course, knowing that, like we're all pretty clear-eyed, cognizant adults, and we
Mhm.
see that we're being told that we don't have money for things that are essential, like healthcare or infrastructure improvements, and yet we can see these elected politicians embezzling money, taking money from us, the individual taxpayers, whom have put them in ostensibly a position of trust to look out for our well-being.
Right.
It's really a challenging thing. So I want to ask you this question though, Robin. If you're as you've been advocating a really staunch anti-war position now and are known for a while, do
Mhm.
you think that there has been pushback against your campaign from the establishment because of that?
Well, okay, the establishment is trying to ignore my existence, basically. The media has ignored our attempts to get into the media.
Mm,
We've sent press releases that never get any kind of response. Um, I've had I've seen it happen in a couple of places where reports were done of the candidates in for Congress in this district, and they do a whole workup on Donald Norcross and Liddell, who is the Republican, and then they said the others could not be reached for comment, which was nonsense. Nobody even tried to reach me.
I think that's a
So
huge thing that
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
We hear this same argument every 4 years, well, online and social media spaces in particular, that the Greens never run local races like the 3 of you
Mhm.
are doing, that we only show up every 4 years. And
Right.
I think the issue is that the real issue here is the media blacks us out. They don't cover our
Yes.
races. They don't talk about
Exactly.
us. Wh
Exactly. So nobody knows that well, very few people know that I'm running, which is why right now I'm trying to get ahead of the other candidates and getting my lawn signs out everywhere.
Yeah.
And I ordered more than anybody else in this campaign because I knew that was the only way to get it out there. And the thing is, in my district, a lot of people actually do know me. I was a professor at Rutgers and Rowan University and a couple of the uh, at Camden County College, and these were all colleges in my district. And so I had thousands of students over the years. So some of them actually have had some of them contact me and said, "Oh, you're on the ballot. I'm going to vote for you." And but there's that. I'm also kind of a well-known artist in the area. So a lot of, I've got a lot of support from artists. Um,
Nice.
um, and so what I'm doing, I've gotten out ahead of the other people running. Well, Norcross he's got millions of dollars to spend on his campaign. I have about $40. And So we're putting signs out all over the place, and I'm getting reports from friends saying, "Oh, I saw one in Cherry Hill today," which is great because it means the people on my committee are also, dedicated, and they're putting the stuff out, you know. Um, and So we have to do it that way. When we leaflet, we're going to like county fairs and things like
Mm,
that, or harvest festivals. And we went to one on Saturday. One of my uh, uh, volunteers went there, and she was there by herself. And she said, she texted me and she just said, "I need help. Norcross is here." And um, and so I dropped everything. I went to this festival, and he was gone by that time, and it was raining, and it was a miserable thing, but there was still a lot of people there. And so we handed out a lot of leaflets to this thing, and everybody was saying they can't stand him. They can't stand Norcross. And that really works. There are people who do like him. They're usually the really wealthy machine Democrats who live in, uh, sort of, in a bubble of
yeah.
wealth. And So we've been going primarily to working class areas where they can't stand them. You know,
So
they hate.
leafleting, I'm sorry. So leafletting and putting up yard signs, those things are really heavily intensive labor, right? Like
Yeah,
volunteer efforts and
yeah,
stuff like that.
it's
So
exhausting.
if someone wanted to get involved and help you, like some of your former students, how would they reach out to the campaign and get involved with you? Do you have a
Okay.
website?
Yeah, I have a website. It's Robin Brownfield 4, the number 4, Congress 2024.com.
Perfect.
That's, yeah. And you can reach me there. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on X. You know, so you can also look me up there, and I will respond to you when it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before we end our segment of the discussion tonight, Robin, is there anything else you'd like to add about your campaign?
Um, well, I just want to say, first of all, we could use more volunteers because it's geographically a big area, and it's very hard to cover every place over 3 counties. And also, we are all not just focusing on the genocide. We're also focusing on Medicare for all, on domestic issues, on primarily economic issues, because those are the pressing things for most people in this area. They're, you know, people are working and working and working, and they can't make ends meet. And, you know, I see people doing things like selling their plasma so they can buy groceries, you know, and I've seen more people going homeless over time, and not getting the help that they need. So, you know, it's not just a single issue campaign. We're talking about taking the money away from bombing people in other countries and spending it on making life livable for people here.
I think that is a very good use of our national treasure, as they say.
Yes.
So I'd like to thank the 3 of you for joining us tonight in the first section of our green stream. I hope that if any of you watching on YouTube have been inspired, that you'll reach out to the individual candidates, 2 of whom are in New Jersey, 1 of whom is in Texas, and that you can offer some help to their campaigns. It can be something as simple as showing up to do some door knocking, some phone banking, putting a door sign up, or sign in your yard, you name it. The Green Party itself is driven by grassroots volunteers. We are a grassroots organization. As each one of these candidates have mentioned, we don't take corporate money. We're not beholden to corporate donors. So we are, in fact, funded directly by people like yourself, by people like me. If you've got $5, you can definitely donate it. But also, let me just say this, because we're a working class party. So I know sometimes like asking for donations can seem a little gauche on occasion, but you need to consider a different way. Volunteer your time. If we were getting minimum wage, your time would be roughly $38 an hour. So think of your effort in that way. And if you donate 2 hours of time, you've donated like $70 to a campaign. If you value your time like this and think of it like this, it'll incentivize you in a different way and make you value your labor. This is one of the big things that has to happen for us to collectively move forward. As of course, all of you live in states that have big ports, and of course the longshoreman strike is happening now. So the economic situation is pressing in the United States. I don't want to take too much more time in our segment of it. We have some more candidates to speak to tonight. So I'm going to bid the viewers adieu for now, and hopefully I can see you again in a later green stream. And I'm going to tag in my other moderator and co-host tonight, Holly Hart, the Green Party National Secretary. Hi, Holly. Join us when you are ready.
Should be ready. Yeah, here I go. Okay. Looks like I'm. Thank you. Good evening, Margaret, and great, interesting of all the candidates. Very good. Good luck to everybody. But,
oh, I think so, right? I'm really inspired by all of their campaigns. I'm very happy to see more and more people inspired to run campaigns. It is very different than just being a volunteer within the party. Right? Putting your face out there and standing for public election isn't easy. So again, I'm gonna ask once more for people to please consider volunteering their time for those campaigns. If you would like to volunteer some dollars, I'm sure they'd appreciate that too. From the national party perspective, we work the same way. We're all volunteer based and run on people donations, not corporate donations. So if you would like to help the Green Party continue to advance our mission, you can go to gp.org/donate and make a contribution right there. That would be very, very helpful for our mission. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Holly, and I'm going to drink some water now.
You deserve it. Hopefully it's clear tap water and good water. And I just will also put in a bid for the Coordinating Campaign Committee and Media Committee. You can also donate directly to the Media Committee to help with funding for this kind of technology that we're using and do more of these. But that's gp.org/donate_media_committee. And I'd like to put in a bid for the Coordinated Campaign Committee that I was part of for quite a while, actually. And that committee helps recruit, run, train, and support Green candidates. That's what we're about. That's why we're a political party. And you can go to gpus.org/coordinated-committee. And there you can find webinars, campaign manual, and other activities. They'll do webinars, one-on-one trainings, candidate cafes, office hours, candidate grants, all kinds of things if you're interested in that. I would also like to thank our Media Committee interim director for the campaign season, Scott McClarty. Also co-chairs of the committee, Gloria Matera and Greg Jokoy. Starlene Rankin for her tech support and advice on video. And I know right now she's saying, Holly, do something with your glasses. And I tried, and that's the best I can get. And let me see who else I'm leaving off. Ann Link, who was in the Women's Caucus and helped draw up this great list of women candidates. You can also, if you're interested in all things Green candidate, go to gp.org. No, let's see, it's, let me find it. It's the Green candidates, and it is gpelections.org. And there, and I think Margaret has mentioned that, gpelections.org, all of the candidates and office holders and important data that we need to keep because nobody else will. But, sometime down the road, some researcher and scholar is going to come along and say, hey, this is important. And so coming in, I'm hoping we have 3 candidates here. These are all seeking a local or regional office. Actually, 4 candidates. One is seeking a state legislative office. And so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to call them into the room or not, but they can come on in. We also have someone who needs to leave soon, so we're going to start with that person. But let's see if we can have those. I don't really want to read off all their names and answer their questions for them.
You're muted.
I'm muted. I better not be. Okay, my name is Holly Hart. I am currently the Secretary of the Green Party of the United States, and I have been a member of the Coordinating Campaign Committee and also a member of the Media Committee. And I've really enjoyed hearing from all these candidates. I was going to ask, we're running short of time, and I was going to ask each of you to very quickly say your name, what you're running for, and the location, and then go circle back. We have Marnie Glickman is one who's got to leave soon. So if each of you could quickly, I'll just start with Toneal, Marnie, Aqeela, and I can't read your name. Sorry. My eyesight is not the greatest, but
Rita.
Aqeela. Okay, I should have known because there's a movie. But okay, so if you could just say, why don't you just start and we'll go back with Aqeela.
Rita.
You want me to start? It was hard to hear you. Aqeela El-Amin Bakheit,
Okay, go ahead.
Lake County Board of Education, District 1.
Thank you. Okay. Next, Marnie, why don't you go?
I'm Marnie Glickman. I'm running for Portland, Oregon City Council in District 2, and I think we have a voter in the house in the chat. Hi,
Great.
Amy.
Rita?
You're muted.
Aloha, I'm Rita Ryan. I'm running for District 12, House of Representatives, Hawaii State House of Representatives from Upcountry Maui.
And Toneal Jackson.
I am Toneal M. Jackson. I am running for MWRD Commissioner, which pretty much covers Cook County and Illinois, the 6-year term.
Great, thank you. And so I am personally a big proponent of running for local offices because we win, we make sometimes long-lasting and widespread and important policy decisions, things like inclusive housing ordinances, plastic bag ordinance, things such as that. And we win these offices. And this is really what I think, and a lot of people have the idea that the local politics is what green politics is all about. I would like to start tonight with circle back with a few basic questions for each candidate. And I know that Marnie needs to leave. So Marnie is running for Portland City Council in Oregon. And it's considered that she has a good chance of winning. This would be quite an achievement as a large city and large area. So I wanted to start out, first of all, with very basic questions, probably to each one of you. Basically, essentially, what led you to seek this particular office and why run as a green by extension?
Are we going to go around? I have to leave in about.
Yes, I'm going to ask you right now. Yeah, I was going to ask a couple others, but yeah, I'm going to do you first, and we'll do the rest. But you can leave once you're done.
Sure. So the question is, can you say it one more time? I'm sorry.
Yes. So what led you to seek this particular? What led you to seek this particular office? What interested you, and by extension, what made you want to run as a green? Any main issues, or just wanting to get into local politics? What experiences led you to run?
Sure. I first registered as a green in 2000. I was the first person Ralph Nader hired to start his presidential campaign, and I've been a Green Party activist since then. When I lived in California, I was elected as a green to a school board where I served for 4 years and had a lot of legislative successes. Portland is my hometown, and we are rebooting our city government. We are going from a situation where we have 5 city commissioners elected citywide. And in this election, we are going to have a multi-member ranked choice voting election. And so I'm running with 30 years of environmental experience, political experience. I went to Lewis and Clark Law School. I know how to read laws and write laws. And Portland needs to become an environmental leader again, and I think we can do it.
And that could be a game changer with the ranked choice voting. I'm reading that this is the first time Portland is using this.
Yeah, it's actually multi-member ranked choice voting, which is even a little bit more complicated, I think. So the the first 3 people to meet the threshold in the ranked choice voting win. And so I'm running because I also am competitive and strong and the most qualified person to serve North and Northeast Portland.
So I'll ask you to quickly put out your website. People who are living in Oregon, and especially who are living in Portland, we want to encourage to vote for Marnie. Put your website out or mention that. I would also like to know what it means to be a woman running for public office and running as a green as a woman. And maybe there's nothing in particular that rises, but maybe there's something that strikes you as particularly relevant.
Well, Portland became a city in 150 years ago, and we're known for being progressive, but we've only had 10 women elected to our city council, 10 in the past 150 years. And so no matter how far we think we come as women, we have a lot more to do to get seats at the table, and we all deserve to have seats at the table. This is a nonpartisan race. I have earned the support of Greens, Oregon Independent Party, Oregon Progressive Party, and many current and former Democratic elected officials, as well as labor unions and all sorts of other of the biggest political groups in Oregon, like the Sierra Club. So we have to fight hard. And I guess, even though I'm 53, I'm continually surprised at people trying to put me in my place.
Wow.
And I have less patience with it, right? I'm like talk to my hands, don't talk about my shoes. I actually have opponents who talk about how cute my shoes are.
Now I want to see your shoes, actually.
But, you can imagine.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask, if you feel there are things that are, what specific things in Portland, or if there are things that you are facing as a woman that you feel need to be addressed. And I know because you are running out of time here that maybe you could just tell us your website, or I'll try to put that in.
I would like to have more than 3 minutes to talk like we gave the other candidates, right?
I agree with you. I thought you said you had to leave in about.
I said I had to leave at 7:10.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead and talk then.
Sorry. I'm just saying. So I think the greatest challenge of me running is not that I'm a woman, it's that I'm a registered Pacific Green Party member, and I'm a former co-chair of the National Green Party of the United States. And the reason why it's a challenge is because people are afraid of change, and we represent change, and people are concerned about doing things creatively, and we are a creative, generative party. And so I think that's the greatest challenge I face. People almost don't believe that Greens can be powerful. Some people on the chat here might not know. For example, I was one of the co-authors of the 2010 Green New Deal. And so, we are Greens who actually are forward thinking, we are future thinking, and we've done amazing things in our history. And people just want to sweep us into an area where they can talk about our shoes, or ignore that I've served in elected office for 4 years and I can do it again.
And I would appreciate if you put your, I don't know if you can put this in the chat or not, but please tell us your campaign website.
Well, I did, but it was blocked.
Oh, it was blocked.
So it's marnieglickman.org.
Okay. I'll try to put that in there. I would like to move on to some of the others. I don't know how much more time we actually have, because we're actually.
Can I have 1 minute closing, please?
1 minute closing. We may be. Oh yeah. Okay, that's fine. But then we need to get to the other
1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, people of the United States Green Party, this is the biggest chance we have to win I have 160,000 constituents. I'm in the finalist debates, and we can create a Green New Deal in Portland. And so we're having fun. We're excited. We're excited about this, and we welcome all of you to come to Portland and help.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me 4 minutes.
Good luck to you.
Bye. Sorry to be so much
trouble. Have a good
again.
evening. And I would like to start then. So let's go up to, I'll go up just directly above me, at least in my video. Toneal M. Jackson, who is running for the Water Reclamation District in, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, good evening to everybody, and I want to have time to share with all the panelists, so I will make this quickly. You asked what was it that got us interested in that entire story. So I have been a Green since 2020. I became chairwoman of the Cook County Green Party in 2022, and that same year is the first time that I was asked to run on behalf of the Greens for the MWRD commissioner. And so 2 years ago I ran for the 2-year term. And so I got right at 260,000 votes. And this was like, as we have said, even on the previous panel, when you're a Green, you don't really we don't have corporate donations. So for me, it was really great that we were able to solidify that many votes, because we are a party of limited resources. And so what made me want to run again for us, this this position, the commissioner, MWRD, is one of the only ones that we have established status for. And so that may come out later in the show, maybe not. But the point is, we didn't want to lose that. And my thought was, if I got about 20% of the vote last time, at the very least, I want to be able to solidify that for us. But I really think that I can win. This time, I am running for the 6-year term. It is against 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, 2 of which are incumbents. But I think that Illinois, although we are primarily a blue state, I do think that people are open to the idea of having a Green Party member, somebody who is open and cares about the environment. I think they're ready for change. So I think they're ready for me. And so in either case, that's what's making me run. And just in case I don't get a chance to come back, I am number 47 on the ballot. So if there's anybody that's watching that's from Cook County, when you vote, whether you do it early or on November 5th, please vote number 47.
Thank you. And I was just told by the tech person, we do have a little more time. It was going to be an hour long, but they're adding a little more time for us. So you'll have a little more time to chat. And I did want to ask, because I know that other folks in Cook County, which is Chicago, folks. So, you know, there's a good potential constituency out there. I know that other Greens have run for those offices, and have they won or not? I'm not sure now that they've won or not. They haven't. They've done decently. Yeah, go ahead.
So it would definitely be historical. I think it's been some decades since there was only one Green person. Like I say, this is probably like maybe in the 80s. So we don't have a huge Green presence in Illinois at all. We don't, definitely not any of the state, offices or anything like that. Do we have any Green? So even when at this local level, that would be historical for our party.
Yeah, Illinois is one of the toughest, I know, but what would you get to do on this commission? How would you get to have any say in policy?
Absolutely. So first of all, my platform is called Educated and Empowered. And that's pretty much what I've been doing with my life, right? So it's not just about politics. In fact, I kind of look at the word politician as being a bad word. I tell people all the time, I am not a politician. I am a public servant. And so I've been serving the public for a very long time. But my entire desire is to really kind of get the constituents, get the residents of Cook County, get us more involved, right? So there are a lot of times when policies are made and it's not kind of interacting with the people. And my whole thought is, it's one thing to write policies, and that's great, but I think that it would take us up an entirely different level if we're able to interact and talk with the people who these policies are supposed to be written to protect. And so that is what I want to bring to the table, where we build more of a bridge between the constituents and the commissioners. So that's what I'm looking to do upon election.
Great, thank you. And I was going to put your website in, but I think it only goes to the chat.
Okay.
I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm hoping somebody might put this on YouTube. I'm going to try to put everybody's website or social media.
And you know what? It's really just my campaign. So Educated and Empowered, totally spelled out, Educated and Empowered, 2.com.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, let's move on a bit, and then if we can circle back, because I'm sure there's plenty more for people to talk about. I'm going to look at the next person, Aqeela El-Amin Bakheit. Did I pronounce that correctly, I hope?
It's Aqeela El-Amin Bakheit.
Bakheit. Okay, my apologies.
Yes,
Okay, Aqeela El-Amin Bakheit, and you are running for?
I'm running for Lake County Board of Education as a governing member for my district, District 1.
And can you tell me what part of California this is? Because I know where Cook County is because I live in Iowa, but
Lake County, if you know where Napa County is, the wine country, we're above Napa County, we're Lake County, and we also grow a lot of grapes here as well.
I see. And
so we're north.
Great. What prompted you to run for this particular election? I'm also going to, I'll follow up. Go ahead and let us hear what you wanted to say.
Okay, so what prompted me to run for this particular election? I had not planned to run at all this year. I'm a graduate student. I happen to be in a session with the university. My school is in another state. It's not in California. And there was a former congresswoman or senator who encouraged us to get involved in some ways in politics. I'm already involved in a number of things besides being a graduate student working on my doctorate. I have a radio broadcast that I do every Thursday, so I have to prepare for that. I'm also the president of the Retired Public Employees Association here in my area in Lake County. I'm also a juvenile justice commissioner. I'm also a member of the NAACP. And so I wear quite a few hats. And so I was not interested in running for office. But as it turned out, I looked in the paper to find out what offices had no candidates.
Mm.
And this one had no candidates. So I went ahead and filled out the papers, paid the fee, and I was prepared to get a website to go and campaign and so forth and so on. And then I was told that there were no one else was interested in this particular position. So I'm running unopposed. Actually, I don't have to run. I will be sworn in December.
Well, congratulations. And this is just one place to note, a lot of the Green strategists will say, look for areas where there's an uncontested race or a seat like this. Or sometimes you have just one party running and no contest. But well, that is really great. What about this particular position attracted you then? And I'm guessing it's nonpartisan, but what, as a Green, do you feel you could bring to it?
Okay. When I decided to sign up for this particular or take out my papers for this particular office, I didn't even think about the fact that I was a Green Party member because no one had ever contacted me since I changed my party affiliation after President Obama left office. I changed my party affiliation from the party that I was affiliated with for a number of years to the Green Party. And no one had ever contacted me about any meetings or anything, and that is the honest truth. So after I took out my papers, shortly thereafter, maybe within a week, someone sent me an email and said, "We see that you're a member of the Green Party." Well, I'd almost forgotten that I was a member of the Green Party and that someone was interested in what I'm about and what I have to say and what I have to contribute. So I'd like to say that I appreciate being noticed and welcome to the Green Party finally after 8 years.
That's interesting and something I hope that all will take note. Sometimes it's difficult for a party to know and to be able to track down all of their members. And in some cases, it's very expensive to get a membership list or a registration list. On the other hand, it's a great organizing strategy and obviously a great party building simply to go out and contact people and say, hello, we're here. Glad you're here, and see who might be interested in whatever, especially recruiting for offices like this. So what is it that you will do as a Board of Education trustee?
As a Board of Education governing board member, I will sit on the board for the next 4 years after I'm sworn in, and I will find out what the Board of Education is actually doing in Lake County for our children. I will find out about whether or not there is enough, what the food, I'm concerned about food, of course. If the food that is available is healthy food. Why am I concerned? Because we eat a lot of organic foods and my husband plants a garden for us every year. So I want to know that the food is healthy. I want to know that children are being treated fairly because I'm a juvenile justice commissioner and I'm concerned that children are not treated fairly based on their ethnicity, based on their race, based on their social or economic status. I'm concerned when children are suspended from school, why they're suspended. And I want to know if there's justification for suspending them or expelling them. So those are the kinds of things that I'm interested in knowing about and being on the forefront to discuss when they come before the Board of Education. And there are a lot of other things too that the Board of Education will deal with, but those are the things that I can think of offhand that I'm primarily interested in being involved in.
That sounds wonderful. And I think so many people I've heard running for a school board or some school position share these same concerns. This is really great. I feel like saying move to my state and run for something. Would be great. To move on now, and again, if we have time, we'll circle back and you can make some closing statements, but I definitely want to speak with Rita Ryan, who is running for Upcountry Maui, Hawaii, District 1 State House. And I believe you survived, or part of your area survived a horrific natural disaster.
Yeah, absolutely, Holly. And thank you for bringing that up. Aloha, everyone. Yeah, we actually, there were fires in Lahaina last year, over a year ago in August. And there were fires in upcountry Maui. There wasn't so much attention to the upcountry fires. It destroyed 22 homes. It went on for 2 weeks in the ranch area. We are a predominantly agricultural area of country Maui. We grow food for Maui and the Hawaiian Islands, and we have a lot of ranches up here. So there was a lack of course, support, firefighting support. Lahaina, when Lahaina broke out first, they were able to suppress the fire, and then they all ran up country, which is over an hour away. We're a small island, but it's not easy to get from point A to point B because we got a couple of mountains in the way, old volcanoes in the way. So they came up because houses were burning in Kula, and then all of Lahaina lit up, and they weren't able to get the resources there. Our firefighters are nothing short of absolute heroes. And what they did with the few resources they had to do. But there's a lot of sadness about that. My motto is grassroots resilience, and I'm developing an upcountry resilience hub right now to be better prepared, because these catastrophes are going to come more often. We're hurricane prone. In fact, the Lahaina disaster was a climate disaster. There was a hurricane 600 miles to the south of us. It was so strong over warming waters, it created the winds that fueled the Lahaina fires. So I come from a climate advocacy background. I've been an environmentalist literally for 50 years, since I was a Girl Scout, since I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring in the 1970s. I have worked on behalf of the environment. I have seen the greenhouse effect, we used to call it. I've seen this progress over 50 years to get where we are now. And we are in a really bad state. I mean, this is, a lot of destruction. We see with the recent hurricane. I had 3 friends in Asheville who survived, but are very disconnected. I know they're going through the same kind of catastrophe that the Lahaina residents went through last year. I helped in the recovery efforts of the Lahaina disaster and saw firsthand the destruction, the grieving, the sadness, and the future, what's to come. We are Hawaii is an archipelago. We're the only state that's an archipelago of islands. There's actually 137 Hawaiian islands, believe it or not. A little factoid there. But we have only, I think, 4 counties: Hawaii, Maui, we're 3 islands: Maui, Oahu, where Honolulu is, and Kauai. So on Maui, the district that I represent, agricultural, and fire prone. 20, 30 years ago, we didn't worry about droughts and fires. Wildfire was sort of a new concept until recent years, so we have to pivot. We have to change. I'm a Green Party candidate for several reasons. One is I've been a grassroots activist for a long time, most of my life. I'm a climate reality leader with the Climate Reality Project. I'm the Maui representative for 350hawaii.org, which is part of 350.org. And I've worked on grassroots campaigning for many initiatives like the climate emergency, which we declared here on Maui, the other counties declared, and then ultimately then Governor Ige declared Hawaii to be in a climate emergency a few years ago. We have rising sea levels, we have storm events, we have fires, we have it all here. We have everything. And what we don't have is access to resources. We could not get help from the other islands because it was too windy for anybody to fly here. We were entirely dependent on ourselves. So we need to be resilient. And that is my campaign motto is grassroots resilience. But why did I run as a Green Party candidate? Well, a lot of reasons. We worked hard to get on the ballot this year, so we're on the ballot. Nobody in my district was running as a Green Party. I was hoping, I was asking, I was begging people. Nobody came forth, and I thought maybe it should be me. I do have a background. I started out as a political science major in college, but then the computer revolution hit in the early 80s, and I decided that I can affect social change better via the internet. We didn't call it that yet, the internet, but via this new vehicle, back then we were like, people are going to have computers in their homes and they're going to talk to each other and they're going to talk to each other versus video. And everybody's like, you're crazy. Here we are. So, the new reality, where we've come from and where we're going. So I switched to computer science and became a software engineer. So that's my trade is software engineering. I'm CIO of a nonprofit. I only do mission-based work now. I have the luxury of having worked in the corporate sector and earning enough to be able to get out of it and do mission-based work. The Green Party, another reason I'm running as a Green, I've been Green except for when I register as a Democrat to vote in primaries when there's no Green involved, but I've been a Green for, I can't even count, a very, very long time. I'm so disillusioned with the Democratic Party right now because they are actively funding the genocide in the Middle East. I cannot be part of a party that is funding genocide, period. So I think I will never even switch to Democratic to vote in a primary again because of that. But there's another reason. Here in Hawaii, we are predominantly a Democratic state, probably the bluest state in the union. So with that should come a lot of efficiency. However, our legislature is entirely dysfunctional. They can't pass anything. In the House of Representatives right now, there are 45 Democrats and 6 Republicans and no third party. Now, what happens now, our voters are about 60%, 60+% Democratic and 30+% Republican. So, 2/3 Dem and 2/3 Republican. So you'd think that there'd be a little bit more equity, but what we have in the Hawaii State Legislature is Democrats in name only, dinos. And Tulsi Gabbard being a very famous one of them. Now, I campaigned for Tulsi Gabbard. I'm still pulling the knives out of my back. Yeah, I campaigned for Tulsi Gabbard. But what we're seeing is that people run as Democrat because they know that Republicans, it's just too hard to run as a Republican because Republicans just don't win the votes like the Democrats. The Democrats tend to vote here and the Republicans feel defeated in many ways. Now, imagine being a Green, a third party, but it's time for change and people realize that we have, even though, we live in paradise and people come on vacation here and it feels like everything is just perfect in Hawaii. We have so much corruption in our political system, in our state political system. New York Times did an expose on the corruption in Hawaii, the pay-to-play nature of Hawaii politics. My opponent is incumbent for 20 years and had of the state finance committee. He holds a huge amount of power. He's taken donations in that article. He'd taken 44,000 in campaign donations from one of the state contractors that he voted in favor of.
I'm gonna butt in here just because we are going to run out of time. Actually, I was going to start asking you, why are you running and what are the issues? But you've already told us that, you know. And
I think I did. Yeah, I jumped the gun there, Holly.
Well, that's okay. That's what we want to hear. And as someone who also was in a state that had a natural disaster a few years ago during COVID, not nearly as scary and bad, but I know how long it takes that you never recover. You know, they're planting millions of trees here, but you know, as you mentioned, the logistics of recovery are something, and I assume that is one of the things that you hope to influence, at least by your campaign, if not by winning. But there has been a state legislative office held by Hawaii Green in the past, so keep that in mind. I would like to ask each of you that are still here. We have just couple more minutes, just kind of a wrap-up statement. Toneal, Aqeela, and Rita, if you would, starting with Toneal, why don't you go ahead and just give a quick update statement and maybe say your website again. By the way, Adam did put all that in the chat and the YouTube. And Rita, there's an informational YouTube video that he put in there. Toneal, go ahead. Toneal, sorry about that. You were muted.
Okay, here I am. So first, I want to thank everybody who has taken the time to tune in. And I want to also reiterate the fact of how important it is that we are getting time like this. First of all, understand, I think that it was said either in this segment or the previous one, when you are a member of the Green Party or any independent party, it's always an uphill battle. For so many different reasons, it's an uphill battle. So for this platform, Holly, to you and to the others, thank you for sharing this platform. But we have to be able to work together, pull together to make it happen. And so again, for me, I'm running educated and empowered, because what my belief is that once we are educated, we are informed of whatever the facts are, then we will be empowered to take action. And what I am looking to do upon being elected is being able to bridge that communication gap. My platform is very simple: clean water, climate change, community engagement. And so my tagline is kind of, who better than the green to help keep the environment and the water clean? So I just want to thank you all again and encourage people to learn more about the Green Party. And even if, there may be, because we are a grassroots party, so learn more. There is more out there than just being a Republican or being a Democrat. You can get involved. You don't just have to sit on the couch and read about it, but go ahead and see if we're here and we're doing it, then we all can make a difference. So again, I do ask that you visit my website, Educated and Empowered, the number 2. And if you don't have time to do that, make sure, if you live in Cook County, anywhere in Illinois, Cook County, make sure that when you vote, punch 47 and vote Toneal Jackson for MWRD Commissioner. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Aqeela, and congratulations already.
I thank you all for hosting this show and for inviting me. As you know, as I just stated, I don't have to run because I'm unopposed, so I'll be sworn in December. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be on this show with you ladies. And I wish you all well and that you win your votes or your elections. Thank you so much.
We'll be looking forward to hearing how things go. I know you're included in that database, and we hope to have some programs with office holders too. So
yes,
you make your influence.
You.
Yeah. So Rita, you want to quickly close out here?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I have such gratitude for the Green Party putting us on, pulling us together, recognizing women. We're doing better in the legislature, women here in Hawaii. We used to be a huge minority. We're reaching almost parity now, and we need to keep going. I'm fighting an uphill battle against a 20-year incumbent, and I will keep, we vote every 2 years here for our legislature, and I will keep fighting as a Green until the Green Party wins, until we're noticed, and until we're able to do what we need to do, which is the tenets of the Green Party: racial, social justice, climate leadership, climate justice, LGBTQ plus rights. We add in Hawaii also Hawaiian sovereignty. Those are the basics that I'm going to carry to the House of Representatives. And thank you all today for listening.
Well, thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for running, and best of wishes to all of you. It sounds like all of you are going to make an impact in some way or other. And this is really, and as I've mentioned, I personally really like the idea of hitting local elections. There's so much you can do, as you've both pointed out. There's so much important environmental and educational issues and concerns and community involvement and improvement that can happen. So thank you very much. Once again, want to put in a plug for the media committee, gp.org/donate_media_committee. Also gpus.ccc, or no, that's not right. gpus.org/coordinated committee. And for some reason, something's picking me up. But at any rate, you can easily donate through our website, gp.org, and also gpelections.org. I want to make sure that's yes, gpelections.org for all things Green Party elections related. Good luck to everyone. Thanks. I also forgot to thank Adam, whose last name I don't have. And I'm very sorry, because Adam has actually been doing the tech and a brilliant job in the tech. I should say, we had two moderators. We had one moderator, and I got called at the last minute. So I was furiously looking through things and trying to get names. And so thank you, Adam, for joining, and for the other team of the Women's Caucus, Coordinated Campaign Committee, and Media Committee and Director for doing this. And thank you all. And Adam, I think we are complete, and you can end the show now. And all best of wishes, best of luck to everyone.